Welcome back, Truth Seeker. Follow up to the 6.4 magnitude earthquake of Southern California, July 4th, 2019. They're reporting that the epicenter was on a naval base at China Lake. And as I said yesterday, this was not the work of Mother Nature. This was the work of mad science and military. This was a planned, ritualistic earthquake, something that goes on more often than most people know. And again, you have to remember that the U.S. government, for nearly half a century, detonated massive explosives underground for testing purposes. And what were they testing? The other thing you have to understand is that the United States of America is a giant military banking Ponzi scheme, and every time something's destroyed, whether it's in the U.S. or elsewhere, there's some banking lender that's ready to profit. It's all about lending money and making profit off the interest. So anyhow, this is the way the world works that we live in, and the other way this sick world works, due to the powers that shouldn't be, is rituals by the numbers. Now, remember, they first reported this was a 6.6 magnitude quake, and they downgraded it to a 6.4. Look at where the epicenter was, China Lake. And what does China Lake equal? It equals 64, like the number of spaces on the chessboard. By the way, California equals 88. 8 times 8, 64, maybe coincidental. Earthquake also carries a Gematria value of 64. And in the 4 base ciphers, I want you to see the overlap with military and earthquake. With the alphabetic order, military and earthquake both sum to 107. Talked about this in the main video I did yesterday in regards to the 1989 World Series earthquake and what it had to do with 107. With the alphabetic order and rules numerology, military and earthquake both sum to 44. The acronym for HARP, the military technology that has the power to create earthquakes. HARP equals 44. It was patented on a date with 44 numerology. Talked about this in yesterday's video. And with the reverse alphabetic order and numerology, military and earthquake also both sum to 55. So in 3 of the 4 ciphers. And of course, California's along the active area that they call the Ring of Fire, which is known for earthquakes and volcanoes. Notice how Ring of Fire sums to 107, 163, and 55. Look at that with earthquake. Overlap in 3 out of the 4 ciphers. This is how things in this world are named. English is the language of the new world. And from the old world comes this study of letters and numbers. This goes all the way back to Babylon. And the nickname for the people who control this world are the Cabal. And where does that nickname come from? It comes from Kabbalah. And in Kabbalah, it's stated that God created the world by merging the letter with the number with the word. This is their belief system. This is why they operate this way. So just realize, yesterday's earthquake, the epicenter on a naval base, it being downgraded to a 6.4 after first reported as a 6.6 in China Lake, none of this is an accident. It's just par for the course. It's what goes on every single time. And again, about the first reporting of 6.6, this was on the San Andreas fault line, 66. USGS, what reported it, 66. Let me refresh the screen here. Happened in the Mojave Desert, 66. They said it happened at 10:33 a.m. local. When you write out 33 as a word, it equals 66. Mojave's also 33. And again, it happened on July 4th. And just the day before this earthquake, I was actually talking about this exact example in regards to weapons and power and the destruction of the Twin Towers on the 74th Meridian in Manhattan, where the Manhattan Project's from, and earthquakes. And then lo and behold, on 7-4, you get a perfect example. Nuclear payload weapon energy, they're all 74. No doubt it was an energy weapon that was used to create this earthquake. And was it a nuclear bomb planted in the ground decades ago when they were doing all of this testing and they planted bombs all over the place? Possibly. Was it a more advanced energy weapon? Possibly. The point to understand is it was your military and it was done by the numbers. And this is why we need to end the federal government and the military, because these are your taxpayer dollars at work. truly. Until next time.